Warning. Pro-Tri News is a podcast with different opinions, knowledge, and possibly fake news about triathlon racing. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and some stories may be dramatized for comedic effect. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pro-Tri News. We are hot off of the race course here at IRONMAN Texas. Figured it'd be best to just bang out a quick show, and while it's all fresh, just have a little powwow about the race. So, Talbot?
Yeah, I mean, we figured Pat flies out here in a couple hours. Today was unbelievable. We're all together. We're not always usually together, so we're like, let's just record this live together. So, yeah, let's just dive straight into the race. First, it was a little pretty hot this morning, actually. Moods were high. Everyone was excited, nervous, and then gun goes. Let's just dive into the men's race. Gun goes, and right away, groups form, but I think we were all surprised that Christian was up that high.
I was surprised how big that front group was.
17 came out of the water together.
Yeah, that was a big front group, and I think there'll be some people that were disappointed they let it get that big. I would have thought Willie Hirsch and something like that would have pushed on, but they weren't really able to. And then Cam Worth was hanging off the back of it, coming into the channel, hanging off the back of the front pack.
That's gnarly.
That guy's learned how to swim, right?
It's crazy.
But all the big names were in there, minus Leon Chevalier, who kind of came through a bit later. Robert Callan.
But even Leon Chevalier, who wasn't in that front group, had a great swim. I think from memory, he was 3:30 down from that group is all. Like,
that's a great swim for Leon. It's a big step forward.
So I thought that was going to set him up, ultimately much better for the end. But what we saw out on the bike, I mean, we were out on the tollway for the majority of the ride, and it was a group of 17 that clearly rode really hard. I'll say, based on the splits, they rode really hard the first 40 miles. And then they had a period from roughly 40 miles to 80 miles, I'd say, where they really sat up effectively. And that's when the likes of Cam Worth came up to the front. Leon Chevalier got back into that group. And then the last, maybe 25 miles, that's when they started to crack it open. We saw a guy like Gustav Eden, who was in the group, pushing the pace, ended up getting a puncture.
And he also, too, just to be clear, when he left transition, he had a puncture. And I don't know if that was fully fixed.
Yeah.
Apparently, he borrowed Gustav's wheels from Oceanside.
Christian,
Gustav borrowed Christian's wheels from Oceanside. And Christian hasn't changed those tyres since well before Kona last year. Those boys have got either some bad luck,
oh mate,
or someone's putting milk in their tyres instead of sealant.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think the wind wasn't a factor today. It was forecasted not to be very windy. We did the first lap of the bike. I mean, we got to talk about Cam Worth here in a second. The first lap of the bike really allowed the speed to go up because it wasn't windy. And then when it finally picked up, it was because they had a tailwind on the way back. So that's really what I think. The wind almost came on at the exact right time.
Yeah, for the men, certainly.
For the men's, totally. Yeah, and I think that to take note, Christian and Gustav rode off the front of the race. And I think that they were like, this pace is too slow in this group. They're probably sitting in... If you're tuning in now, or you've ever come to one of these races and you're on the ground, it's actually quite hard to watch the live stream while you're out on the course. You're kind of just looking at the tracker. But those boys came past us. They had opened up a gap, and then it looks like with the wind direction change and all that, the group behind them had closed the gap. And it almost looks like Cam's group behind them, it looks like that front group, just everyone could just kind of, I don't want to use the term sat up, but they probably, Christian and them were like, well, we're not going to push the pace because we can run with you guys all day long. So they kind of sat up, and then Cam Worth, Robert Callan with him, multiple others, and they all went to work, and they went to work fast.
Yeah, is it not Nick Thompson that got a gap on the group? He had 30 seconds on the whole group
for a big chunk of the bike.
That was lap number 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that was impressive.
And then he was closing gaps on the run. Like, he raced really well.
Yeah. I was impressed with that.
So Cam Worth, I mean, Talbot mentioned this when you were back editing photos, but, obviously he's in his early 40s. How long do we think this 352 stands for?
I think it could stand for a while.
Oh, about a week, the rate things are going. I mean, it's super impressive, but records just seem to be getting broken. This is one of those courses, though, that it is
I don't want to say this factually because I'm not sure. Is this bike course shorter just a little bit?
No.
No.
Mark's like,
No.
No. This is a 180.
Yeah, and we don't want to get too hung up on times here, but this bike course, is traditionally fast, but we do need to be very clear. There is not a lead vehicle.
It was really good today.
It was really good today. There was no lead vehicle off the front sitting 10 meters ahead. A lot of times when we see fast bike times, there's a lead vehicle. I saw hardly any vehicles out there at all.
and then certainly what also helped propel this bike. I mean, we don't want to spend too much time on it, but when you've got a group of 17 riding at 12 meters, the speed of that group is going to be through the roof. And then you just look at, going back to the results here for a second, Antonio Benito Lopez in second, Rudy Von Bergen third. I mean, these guys did an amazing job of getting sucked along and, you know, making those contributions, but there's a ton of momentum in this, you know, ultimately in this race today.
Yeah.
Do you think Race Ranger has made it easier for these guys to sit in this group and make this front group bigger?
100%.
Yeah, definitely. I think for some of the bad cyclists, it makes it harder because they can't outright cheat.
Yeah.
For the good cyclists, it helps, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, and we've talked about this, you know, forever, but the issue is, you know, in the previous days of no Race Ranger, you were riding at 15 meters because you didn't know how to judge 12. Now you go to the lights and everybody's at 12.
And I stand corrected. It was 111.3 miles. So, I mean, whatever to like, that's, in past we've seen race courses that are like 5-10 miles short. This is not that. It was just
and it's not particularly fast asphalt out there. It is, and you get a bit congested with the others. Like, I think that's a legit record from
Yeah.
Kenworth.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and then so a lot of the boys came in. Cam Worth came in, shattered the world record for the fastest bike, 353, 28 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers an hour, but just absolute insanity. Yeah, gets to work right away. Chatted with him a little bit. He tried to, for about 10 meters, run with Antonio Benito and Christian. And
What Cam did?
yeah, and he said that was really, really dumb, and he regretted that really quick. But he said that.
What did he say about posting the fastest bike split?
He just said like, you bike for show.
Yeah,
And he was like, cool. He goes, but I think Cam was a little disappointed at the end of his race because he missed out in the last 4 minutes of the race, lost his Kona slot. So, But going on to the run, right out the gate, we thought we were going to see a dueling battle all day long with Antonio Benito and Christian Blumenfeld. But Christian put in a little dig and just said, this is my race.
So he did what we kind of all expected him to do. If you go and run a 67 at Oceanside, you're going to be able to win this race by 8 minutes today is what we found out. So I think for me, Christian put to bed a lot of stuff today. He put to bed that, one, he can't hold his fluids. I think that was a big fear that I had for him. He had zero issues coming out of either end from what we could see on the broadcast.
We didn't see anything come out of the bike.
We didn't see anything. We didn't see him run out of a porta potty. So I mean,
I saw him in anti-doping and grabbed his bag for him. He appeared to be clean and smelt all right. So he held it in.
I mean, he was tremendous today. I mean, he was the favorite in the men's race. He won by 8 minutes. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah, so I was interested. Like, actually, the men's run times weren't that quick. And
no, it was one guy ran sub 240, and it was Christian.
Yeah, it's not. It was a hot day. It was kind of windy on the run. Actually,
Yeah.
It's not a particularly fast run course because it is a bit undulating, a few
Right.
narrow paths and stuff.
Yep.
There were some other standout results. I thought. Have you heard of a guy called Rudy Von Berg?
I was literally just about to say, we just went this entire race recap and we didn't even mention his name. It's because now we're going to the podium. It's not like we're doing it insultingly. He just
flies under the radar and
just flies under the radar.
The other one I was really happy for, Daniel Backergaard.
Yeah.
I feel like that's with a new coach. That's a commendable fourth place, good result, nice way to start back.
And he always, I mean, today when Kyle and I saw him at mile 23, he still looked like he was running
he still had
really
a fight.
well.
Yeah.
It didn't, like, I'd seen him before in these, you know, mile 8 of a marathon where the degradation of his run had already hit him really, really hard. He looked, you know, I use the word froggy. He looked really great, even at mile 23. So,
Yeah.
And
And Antonio didn't look great. Like we actually thought that this podium fight was going to go all the way to the line because Rudy seemed to be catching Antonio, and Daniel seemed to be kind of following along with Rudy about a minute behind. But Antonio looked so bad that at one point I honestly thought that Antonio had blown up.
Talbot.
I mean, though, at the end of that race, I was out there trying to give Cam Ware some splits. He was going for a Kona slot. There was 10 guys within 10 minutes of each other, essentially, right around there. And it was just, they were all running basically equivalent with each other. Very minor shuffling. Gustav lost a few positions towards the end.
We should say, like, Paul Schuster, who got the slot, so Casper Storms as well, so in fifth. Paul Schuster's a super nice guy. He's been out training here before, like a deserving Kona slot. And then Nick Thompson, having been aggressive on the bike, took it. They all feel like worthy kind of slots.
I don't think Nick got it, because I think it only rolled
It just went
Paul.
to Paul.
It went
just
to
to Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
brutal. Sorry.
We got to
Yeah.
do a lap on Casper Storms too, because
I did. I took a dig at him, and I said, "He ain't gonna. It's not gonna be a good day for him. And he's gonna be calling McCall." So, hats off to Casper. Phenomenal result. Surprised me, and yeah, just killed it out there.
Not great from Leon Chevalier.
no.
He was happy. when I talked to him.
Well, because he's turned this around since South Africa, where he had a
and he really hasn't trained since then, and so
No,
he was
'cause he's
just
been
like,
ill.
I'm just gonna surf this wave and see how it comes out. So
Yeah, fine. He's
Other-
happy, good.
yeah.
Other notable names: Matt Hansen was at the end of the race all day long. Came in at 11th.
I saw Matt Burton pull out on course. I didn't know he'd got hit by a car again. I mean, he's had a
Yeah, he's
before.
2 broken ribs. We
Yeah.
talked to him ahead of the race, and
two
so
broken ribs and was a bit rough on the course and just said he was just exhausted. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was only 3 weeks ago, and obviously
Yeah.
your body's recovering.
Yeah.
You just look banged up, man.
yeah.
Gustav Eden got validated his Kona slot, and
Ben Hamilton, shout out to the Kiwi, getting 12th. Lately, I've been using Ministry Nutrition to fuel my training, and I'm honestly hooked. Their recovery shake has been a game changer after my workouts. The gels have kept me going during the sessions, and the porridge bars are the perfect pre-workout boost. Ministry means sports nutrition designed differently. It's all good stuff that actually helps you perform better during training, racing, and recovery with none of the junk that doesn't help. Plus, it tastes great and has 0 artificial flavors. Hey, talk is cheap. Give it a try for yourself. ProTry News listeners get 50% off their sample box with code PROTRY50 at checkout. Head over to Ministry Nutrition and see the difference. We have also put the link in the show notes for this episode, so check them out.
Hi, I'm Laura Phillip, and I approved this message.
Should we move
Another
on to the race
spot.
that matters?
yes, the real race that matters. And we even have the champion herself here joining us.
Record holder,
World record holder.
record holder, Katrina Matthews.
It's my total privilege to be on the show.
Man, what a
Oh, it's-
pleasure.
A lot of people say we're just a 4 Looney Tunes that that have no common say, but at least in one of the households of one of the members on the podcast, we have a world record.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see you guys together. You're so great. It's the vibes that you get from this podcast. It's like true reality. I'm really looking forward to dinner later.
So, Kat, kind of tell us about your race, the game plan, and then was it executed to your expectations? Are you happy with how it went, swim, bike, and run throughout the whole race?
Yeah, I'm not sure I ever really go into a race with a real game plan. I don't know if that's a thing. I really like the idea of just like adapting to the situations as they come. So swim was just go hard, see how many feet you can hold on to. And I wasn't super great, I wouldn't say. But the bike had its ups and downs. I really wanted to try and hold Taylor. I wasn't expecting to catch her at all. And I guess I wanted to just limit the loss to her. But I didn't know how that would play out. And I was really quite happy that the first section, I completely held her. I lost a little bit of time, had a bit of a low, and then I just pulled it back, which again, I'm really, really proud of. And then the run, I guess, game plan, catch Taylor ASAP. And looking at my heart rate data and my general feel, I did that and then just played
Kept
the
your
game.
foot down.
Played the game.
Was there a moment where you were like, I want to catch Taylor by X point, or in the plan that you had?
Yeah, after the first K, I think, Mark said something like, it was a mile. He was like, you're taking 30 seconds a mile out of Taylor.
Can you imagine if I'd said that to Patrick Langer, by the way?
Do the math.
Do the math. You do the math.
I mean, I did ask you. No, I then therefore calculated that I'd catch her by about 16k. So that then became my target, like settle in, get to the woody bit, and then know that you can enjoy it from there. So I think it was more like 13, 14k.
Yeah. Was this the most rewarding of your wins here? Third time?
No, the first one was the most rewarding.
Yeah.
7 months after.
I love that someone actually answers that question. Because when you ask which is your favourite win, everyone goes, "Oh, they're all special."
Oh.
I quite like that someone just said, "No, it was that one."
Well, and to dive into the race real quick, Taylor and Rachel Zelinsky had, or is that how you say her name? Zelinkas had an insane swim. I mean, I actually was waiting on the canal to record them. And then I'm like, when are the females going to... I saw another female. I said, did Taylor and them already come through? And they're like, oh, she went through a long time ago. And I was like...
Yeah, Taylor, I was kind of angry at how good and professional she is. Because there are other women in this race that should be able to hold Zelinkas. Now, she went mental. She swam so well. But of course, the one person in the right place with the right get-out speed is Taylor. And she just sat on her feet perfectly and got towed through to a brilliant swim.
Yeah. And they went to work on the bike. Taylor ended up with about 6 to 7 pro men riding 12 meters on her wheel, which I thought was pretty interesting and pretty funny as well.
Oh, it was so funny.
I mean, just if you're a pro male and you're riding on the back of Taylor's wheel.
Some of them, I even saw some red lights at some point.
So Taylor ended up opening up a gap to Kat at about 8 minutes. And we thought it would keep ballooning. And then Kat started to bring that down and actually brought it all the way down to 6 minutes going into transition, and Taylor broke the Ironman World Record on the bike course, and Kat missed it by just 20 seconds. If you would have known that, would you have pedaled a little bit harder?
No, I raced my best today.
Was there...
That's such a lie. She's been seething about this, by the way. That is such a lie.
Can we go to the run real quick? Once you felt that you had it in the bag, did you ease off the second half of the run?
I think that's very hard to answer, and I'll direct people to my Strava.
The heart rate dropped.
So we're going to go check.
A bit.
You can go sleuth the Strava data. The question that I have for you, Kat, is, we're, us tri-dorks that are following the sport, we head out to the tollway. And then, we think we're being super helpful because we put some stuff on a whiteboard and we yell randomly at you and we think you can hear it. We're not quite sure. Does any of that help? Do you look forward to seeing people out on the tollway, or is it more of just a nuisance? Like, can you actually capture or gather anything from those brief encounters that we see you over the course of the 4+ hours?
Yes, notably, I really enjoy it when someone says fastest on course, obviously. And I think you were silent once and you put up a time split that I had lost time to Taylor, and I thought the silence was perfect. So I think, yes, absolutely, it's really valuable. And I think for me, it really engages me. It keeps me in the game. So I think, yeah, there's a real performance advantage for me.
And the women's race was very heavy at the front, and then Taylor came in about 10 minutes down. I think she was made it very clear at the start of the run. I yelled out to Taylor, "Kat, 6 minutes back," and she said, "I don't want to hear time splits. I'm here to qualify for Kona." She made it very clear that she was here for one purpose and one purpose only, and I was like, okay.
The big surprise to me that we probably didn't give her enough credit in the pre-show for, Lisa Petterer, getting third place today. She's demonstrated now, whether it was Singapore, whether it was Cozumel, that she can hold her own and does quite well in
long course.
One long course, and then 2 in the heat.
Yeah.
Kat, she was going turn for turn with you. It definitely seemed like when she would go on the front, it was a little bit slower. That was an opportunity for you to grab, maybe a bit.
I won't put Kat on this dime, but every time she came past us, she was suction cupped to the Race Ranger light, is what it looked like.
I mean, totally fine as she can be, I think. But this was an amazing result for her, third place.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, that's fair.
So she did it the way she had to do it.
She said she's not racing again until there's another hot race, so I mean,
Oh, there's another hot race?
right, correct. So don't think we'll see her at much
Hot
of the
as in temperature or like field?
temperature. So T100 races, don't think she'll be at those. So
That is a weird way to
So what's-
narrow your season.
yeah.
Like I can only win when it's completely attritional. That's interesting.
So
Okay.
let's finish through the women results real quick. So Lisa was third. Alice Alberts, fantastic race, fourth place.
Right, her bike was super good. She rode basically solo, and she rode a 424 something. Super good ride. From
Huge for Alice. She got a Kona slot. Sarah Svensk, 3:04:42. She already had a Kona slot. So then Tamara Jewett, huge race for her.
Did she get a
sub
Kona slot?
3? Got a Kona slot.
Oh,
Raced on
on her
her birthday. Yeah.
Oh, fair
So
play.
sixth place for her, and then the last Kona slot went to Haley Chura with a time of 3:54:37.
And can we talk real quick before we wrap up the women's race? The time of 8:20 for a female's race is insane. And then you go, that is second place. 10 minutes faster, 8:10 is truly
But
like
to
we're in a
to
new era. Like
to that
a
Cat,
new
do you
era.
think that you could go sub 8 truly on a course?
On the right course.
On the right course, do you think that you could actually go sub 8 rather than it being like the experiment basically?
Today I went 8:10,
Yeah.
and I will keep striving to improve on that.
That is such a bullshit answer.
That's the right. No, I'm going to defend Kat. That is the right response. I knew you were going to have a really, really special day today. I didn't know that it was going to be 8:10 special. But I think even on the bike, especially in that back half, I knew that you were going to be in for a really good one. And when the time was ballooning out, I will say somebody at this table was getting a little queasy. Not
yeah,
me.
I was not happy.
And I was like, dude, we are totally fine here.
You were so confident here. Pat's on the phone being like, 12 minutes is fine. We'll take 12 minutes. And I was like, we will not be taking 12 minutes. That is not.
I could just feel that. I would say just from observing you, I could just say, okay, look, I think it's not like it wasn't, doing an audit on your training peaks the last 4 or 5 months. It wasn't that. There was an energy and an aura that I kind of knew, okay, like today we're going to pop a big one.
I think a big part of the end of the bike was I've actually really pushed some of my bike training recently, and some of the sessions I've been doing, they've had 1 hour reps at the end of a 5 hour ride. It's been blowing my mind a little bit. So I think I'm going to give that a little bit of credit. My mood, like you say, was really quite positive in that last sort of 90 minutes.
So Kat's coach is a professional cyclist by trade for many, many years. And he was like, this is the worst thing to watch. And not in terms of like he didn't like watching it, because he was obviously really emotionally invested in her having a good bike, having put this work in and wants to be validated himself. He was like, the tracker makes it so stressful because if they suddenly lose 10 seconds, it's like your world's ending. Because that's gonna, and then you do the maths on it. It's like, oh no, she gained 10 seconds. And he just said it was like the most stressful 5 hours of his life.
That's so good.
I still can't get over 8:10, and I also got to compliment Kat and Taylor, and I got to say, it is so cool to see high-level female athletes show up to compete against each other. In the past, we've seen a lot of ducking. We've seen a lot of let's just go to this nonchalant Ironman. Let's do it as a training day, and let's punch our KQ or our knee slot, and let's go do that. And it's so cool to see
Like
that
Lanzarote or
athletes
somewhere.
are going to show up, and they're going to race each other at the highest level. And hats off to you, Kat. 8:10 is seriously insane, especially considering I go like 13 hours an hour.
And it was hot as shit out.
It was
Yeah.
hot.
Oh, wait.
So hot.
I'm sweating.
It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was like crazy hot. It was just really sunny. So the real feel really pumped up, I think.
Yeah. That's fair.
So
Yeah.
Can we give probably just one? My closing thought is there were two really clear favorites today. There was Christian and Kat. They both, I would say, delivered. I guess the question that I have for you, Kat, just because you're sitting here,
Triathlon races are packed with unforgettable moments, whether it's a family member crushing the swim leg, a friend powering through the bike, or your favorite pro sprinting to the finish line. But what if I told you there's a way to capture and share all those moments, no matter where they happen on the course? Now introducing Crowd Clips, the ultimate app for fans, family, and friends to upload their favorite athletes in real time. Whether they're flying past on the bike or digging deep on the run, you can film it, upload it, and make it available for everyone to see on the app from anywhere. So the next time you're cheering from the sidelines, make sure you use Crowd Clips to share those once-in-a-lifetime moments with the entire world. Download Crowd Clips today and turn every triathlon into a memory that lasts forever.
This is your opening race of the Ironman Pro Series. This sets you up with 5,000. You actually then you and Christian, effectively played the best offense by now you created a great defense because you took a ton of points away from others. Are you thinking about that at all when you're racking up this huge, ultimately a deficit for your competitors? Are you thinking about the Ironman Pro Series in that way at all?
Yeah, I guess, I absolutely am. But the only hard thing is that some of the athletes haven't really announced whether they're going to do it or not. So you don't really know who you're competing against at the moment. So, yeah, it's definitely crossing my mind. And I even thought, I was thinking actually back in the field, like, who are my friends? And do I need to slow down a bit to give them more points rather than the opposite?
And then just because we're talking about the Ironman Pro Series, for those who have been living under a rock, you're going to be doing Ironman Hamburg next. What do you anticipate when you talk to your coach, your team? What do you think the next 5 weeks will look like to prepare the best way possible with the time that you have?
Well, knowing the last three or 4 months, I think my bike coach Alex will be trying to throw as much as he possibly can at me, and Mark will be saying, "Hey, let's calm down a little bit," which I'm really looking forward to. So probably a little week recovery, 3-week camp, and then taper week.
I think that's one of the big things that you do that a lot of others don't to get through a season like last year, is when she says a week off, it might be genuinely 3 days off properly. No sessions for the sake of it.
No workouts at all, literally off.
You could easily do 3 days straight off now.
Yeah.
You're not having 10 days off now.
Yeah. Awesome.
So what you're saying is you need to do 30 to 40 hours a week of training, and in recovery weeks, only 25 hours a week?
Only 25, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get info for Lionel?
Oh.
Let's close.
By the way, I love that Kat went low volume, so Lionel went low volume. Kat's now gone super high volume. When is Lionel switching to high volume?
Next week. Well, thanks for joining. Obviously, this is super quick, super brief, 25-minute podcast to get you through the rest of your weekend. There's some more racing going on. We're going to be more than likely putting out some more podcasts this week, so hope for you guys to tune in. Thank you for following all the content. Thank you to everyone that came to the live show. Huge shout out to Ventum and the Goose's Acre for hosting us this week, and shout out to Kat for a huge result.
And shout out to all the professional athletes that don't duck.